Hello, my name is Nathan Dorn. I'm the curator of the Rare Books collection of the Law Library of Congress. In this video, I'd like to talk about a recent addition to the Law Library's Rare Books collection. This is a sea letter that was issued for the schooner Two Friends, which sailed from the port of Salem on May 25, 1794. A sea letter, like a ship's passport, was a document that the United States required American vessels to carry in the 18th and 19th centuries. It was meant to identify the ship, to document its nationality, and to serve as evidence of neutrality. This sea letter was signed by George Washington as President of the United States and Thomas Jefferson as Secretary of State on March 20, 1794. It was also signed by Joseph Hiller, collector for the port of Salem. As with many early sea letters, the text appears in 3 languages: English, French, and Dutch. It was later customary to print sea letters in 4 languages: English, French, Dutch, and Spanish. It records Osman Gage as master of the ship, which it describes as lying at present at the port of Beverly and bound for Suriname and laden with fish, provisions, oil, and lumber. On the verso of the document, dated 2 months later, it records that Nicholas Thorndyke is now the master of the ship and that it was departing for Trinidad from the port of Salem after an apparent delay. In 1793, the schooner Two Friends was involved in a customs violation case, which arose from the illegal offloading of sugar in Beverly, Massachusetts. In the course of a deposition, Osman Gage, who was serving as first mate to shipmaster Nicholas Thorndyke, made statements that show that the schooner was carrying enslaved people in the Caribbean who were bought and sold between the islands of Haiti and Cuba. It did not, however, transport them to the United States. In this respect, the Two Friends is an example of a wider story. While the Massachusetts legislature banned the slave trade in 1788, ships that sailed from its ports continued to engage in the slave trade in the course of their travels. In 1800, the United States Congress made it unlawful to engage in the slave trade between nations, and in 1808, it enacted legislation to prohibit the importation of enslaved persons into the country. Widespread domestic trade in enslaved people continued until the Civil War era. It's unlikely, given the workaday quality of this kind of document, that either Washington or Jefferson, both of whom owned enslaved people, were aware of what this schooner Two Friends was doing in the Caribbean in 1793. But this document, and others like it, underscore how embedded slavery and the slave trade were in the fabric of American society at that time and for much of the nation's history. As a reminder, Rare Book service is available at the Law Library on weekdays by appointment. We hope to hear from you. Thank you.